for 2 hours, we will share the results. So at first, we will listen to the explanation of Tokyo 8 from the managing director of Tokyo 8. So please, Mr. Ishida.
ただいまご紹介に預かりました。
Tokyo 8 from Tokyo 8 Global and Tokyo Bacteria Lab. Thank you very much for joining us today. I'm sure that there are many people who are already using Tokyo 8 or are considering using it in the future. And I will be joined by a speaker later today and talk about the results of those who are actually using it. So please enjoy it until the end.
本日は最後までご視聴ください。また、私たちはこのような
We also regularly hold webinar-style events like this. Want to keep everyone up to date on the latest information. We hope you will continue to join us, and we look forward to seeing you at our meeting in the future.
では、まずは、東京8の特徴についてご説明します。
Let me begin by explaining the future of Tokyo 8. Tokyo 8 is a microbial material. It contains some nutrients and trace elements. But it is a product developed to make microorganisms live in the soil. It is registered as an organic JAS certificate material as a special fertilizer in the category of fertilizers. So it can be used both organic and conventional farming. The number of microorganisms contained in Tokyo 8 is enormous. 1,500 species. The vast number of microorganisms adapt to various environments. It composes various organic substances contained in fertilizers in the soil and supplies them to vegetables and other plants in a form that is easy to them to absorb. 1,500 microorganisms contained in Tokyo 8 are not found in a discrete number. The world of microorganisms forms society just like human society. There is a strong leader like the President of the United States or the Prime Minister of Japan, and this is called the leader fungus. The Tokyo 8 is a product created by those leader bacteria as a community. 1,500 species, a huge number, and it is a truly strong collective group of microorganisms. To be more specific, let's say there is a company. There are various roles such as general affairs, accounting, sales, and factory. Less than organism all. And the company is able to achieve its goal, contribute to the society, and pursuing profits. The company is the unit of society. Case of microorganisms. Cavity dissolving bacteria is easy to understand. It's responsible for dissolving tooth enamel, extracting nutrients from the dissolved teeth, transporting the extracted nutrients to the whole community, standing between people who have difficulty communicating with each other and maintaining relationships, protecting the whole community from the disinfecting ingredients of toothpaste and other products by forming biofilms, and being a leader of community. Is this similar to a company of human society? Yes, it is. Tokyo 8 is collective microbial group is an excellent group that lives in the soil and coexists with plants, processing microscopic organic matter, improving soil's fertility, and supplying it to plants. Our company was originally in the business of using microorganisms to clean up Tokyo's urban sludge waste. To begin with, we started researching microorganisms to treat this sludge, which is considerably more concentrated on than soil. Because we developed Tokyo 8, we are able to create microbial material that is effective in Africa, Southeast Asia, Japan, and the other countries, regardless of the type of the soil or agricultural methods. What kinds of effect we have achieved will be explained by advanced actual users later on. So please stay tuned. I hope you now understand what Tokyo 8 is. Our goal is to spread the use of Tokyo 8 to solve various issues faced by people engaged in agriculture. The biggest challenge in agriculture seems to be improving the balance between yields and crop quality and the corresponding cost of materials. What is now plaguing farmers around the world is the rising cost of fertilizer, which began with the war between Ukraine and Russia. It is expensive, but if you don't use fertilizer, your yield will go down. To increase the harvest, fertilizer must be used, but the cost will only increase. What if there was an alternative to skyrocketing fertilizer prices? Agriculture, especially open field cultivation, is confronted with nature. It is greatly affected by earthquakes, typhoons, floods, and extreme weather conditions caused by global warming. Tokyo 8 is a tiny little microorganisms, but it promotes the formation of clumps in the soil and greatly assists the growth of the plant's roots. When roots grow strong and large, plants are more resistant to environmental changes. Also, the above-ground part of the plant grows larger because it's able to absorb more components in the soil. In other words, plants that grow stronger with Tokyo 8 become more tolerant to the environment. Regarding quality, Tokyo 8 can also make a significant contribution. The production of safe, high-quality crops is precisely the issue that needs to be addressed in order to increase national competitiveness. Continued use of Tokyo 8 will increase the efficiency of a plant, nutrient absorption, and as a result, a strong group of microorganisms will conquer other pathogens. These strong plants produce fewer odors that pests perceive as food. As a result, harvest rates are further improved and the use of fertilizers and pesticides is reduced. When it comes to pesticides, we are also concerned about the health of the farmers who use them. Since these chemicals are effective against the insects and weeds, of course they will have a negative impact on humans as well. Of course, there are some that do not. To begin with, if the damage caused by the pests and disease is reduced, the amount of pesticide used will also decrease. In the field in Tokorozawa, Saitama Prefecture, the use of both chemical fertilizers and pesticides has been reduced by 80% after 3 years of Tokyo 8 use. This way, Tokyo 8 offers a number of advantages to the farmers who use it. First, the harvest will increase by 120% in 1 year. This is the track record of many places. The second is that Tokyo 8 itself is rather reasonably priced, and the benefit of reducing agricultural material is greater than the percentage of Tokyo 8 price. Third, it improves the soil and increases the environmental tolerance of crops. Finally, it improves crop quality and shelf life. effect gets better and better with continued use. We have experienced no rotting of onions when stored at the room temperature after harvesting. Furthermore, we are promoting Tokyo 8 through the distributor system to make it easier for more people to find Tokyo 8. We are a small to medium-sized company and do not have enough manpower, but by increasing the number of distributors throughout Japan, we will be able to deliver our product to areas we cannot reach and closer to the farmers. Of course, we are also open to direct orders in areas we do not currently have distributors. If you are interested in becoming a distributor, please contact us later. Tokyo 8's distributor system offers a wealth of benefits. You can start your business immediately with a small number of distributors. We are expanding our business overseas through franchising. It is also a manufacturing franchise. When expanding overseas, the bottleneck is inevitably the cost of living in each country and the cost of transportation. We have solved these two problems just like the Coca-Cola business model. The local human resources can be used to meet local needs at the price point, and yet the people doing the business make money. Moreover, shipping costs are minimal. Only the cost is raw materials. After all, everyone knows his own business. No one can afford Tokyo 8 made in Japan because it's too expensive, but with this manufacturing franchise, we are now beginning to meet the needs of the world. We have started to contribute to the food issue in Japan, in Africa, in Asia, and in the world. This does not mean that we should curb the use of underground resources such as chemical fertilizers and pesticides, and use recyclable resources in agriculture as an industry. We want to use microorganisms to improve biodiversity of the soil, including plants to restore fertile soil, to use greenhouse gases that are said to be generated from agriculture as raw materials for energy and living organisms, and to increase the yield and quality of our products as a business. The keyword, safety of natural origin, can be clearly seen. We will contribute environmentally regenerative agriculture of agriculture will develop sustainability. In conclusion, we Solter Group, rather than Tokyo Bacterial Lab, have been constructing various resource recycling and upcycling system, not limited to agriculture. World is now in the midst of a major shift based on the idea of SDGs. However, we are 60 years old company and we have been encouraging SDGs since the beginning of our business. In order to realize the circular economy, we have developed various business over the past 60 years. Please come and hear about the one of our business, Tokyo 8. Now, let me quickly announce the speakers. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
So thank you very much, Mr. Ishida. So thank you very much for your talks. So we received some questions from the Q&A session. So
So text Q&A のところにご質問を入れていただければというふうに思いますので、よろしくお願いいたします。では、早速事例報告の方に移ってまいりたいと思います。
So now we will start the report of cultivation. So not only from Japan but also from abroad. So please listen carefully. So at first it will start with Kagoshima, with Mr. Torikigai-san.
いや、どうぞ。
So please.
ただいまご紹介に預かりました取り違いと申し
So
ます。
thank you for introduction. So are you able to listen to hear me? Thank you very much. So about me, let me introduce myself. So I graduated from University, Agricultural University for the tea industry in 2002.
で、
Then
昨年の12月いっぱいで退職を
Then I started working at JL Zola just and then until last December I worked over there. Now I started working as an independent agricultural consultant starting this year. I have a lot of different experiences. So today I'm gonna talk about Tokyo 8 and microorganisms. So as my experience come from science and microorganism and physics as well. So I always had a big interest in physics and science.
っていうところをですね、講演をしてきた経歴もございます。それからまた余談ですけれども、昨年ですね、岡山
So since last year at Misaki City, I actually appeared in a movie with the Ochakabuki, with the tea kabuki.
ということでですね、映画にも出演しております。で、また今年のですね、秋に公開
And
ということで、
this year in
ければいいな
in the
と
fall
私を見た際は、
you might be able to see it.
というふうに思っていただければというふうに思います。
So please try to look for the tea during the movie.
無刺性玉緑茶というお茶のですね、茶種がありまして、普通煎茶ですと棒みたいにまっすぐなってると思いますけど、
So I am
っていうのはですね、主流
a professional on
のお茶になります。その無刺性玉緑茶
a kind of tea that looks like the sencha.
その全国の茶品業界で5連覇、地域として5連覇という達成をしております。
I received the
またですね、
award from Minister of Agriculture and Forestry for this kind of cha, of tea.
いかに必要な量を施すか。だから必要のないものは生をしない。土壌分析に基づく
So
ということで、
I base my cultivation on the
環境に優しい農業
analysis of soil, and I try not to put stuff that is not
そういった科学的な
essential.
そういった産地であるということで、
So this is how I proceed in a scientific way. So this is how I always proceed.
書いてありますけれども、アブダビでですね、
And for the last, in Abu Dhabi, I was able to.
毎年ですね、
There was a food exhibition in Abu Dhabi,
700
and
参加する
in the middle of 700 companies that participated,
ファイナリストと言いまして、
and I was in the 10 finalists.
出社の取り組みはアメージングだということで、その選ばれるような日本企業としての初の快挙
And it was the first time for a Japanese company to be awarded at this exhibition.
ウィナー ていたっていうような賞もあるんですけれども、残念ながらそれは取れなかったんですけれども、
but we couldn't get another prize. But we still were the 10th company of the world in this exhibition. So for our encounter with the Tokyo 8, so we were introduced by someone and listened to a lot of kind of stories. But you can see even on this document that it's we had trouble finding organic liquid fertilizer, and the fertilizer costs were going up. So from this, I had some interest in the liquid fertilizer that the sludge treatment company was making. So I asked Tayoyuka to let me use the fertilizer, the biofertilizer. So we started to make a trial with this. So it's not that we cannot find liquid fertilizer, but it was very interesting that it was something that was using the techniques of sludge treatment. So it was very interesting in a cost performance aspect. So I saw a lot of potential for this microorganism origin, and actually there is organic fertilizer that can increase yield, but not for organic fertilizers. And also, when we look at the price of Q8, I saw a very big potential for the biofertilizer itself. First, when we first did the experiment, so when you look at the picture, at the left you have the control field, and right you have the Tokyo 8 field. So it was made on tea. So if you can look at the right picture, so you have the road at the right of the field, and from the road you had some heat that was radiating, so it made the growth of the plant faster. And as you get further from the road, you have a lesser yield. So this is where we did the experiment. Please, next. So we also wanted to check if what was the best, either foliar application or soil application. So we did several conditions with only leaf application, only soil application, and both of them. So this is how we made the experiment. So you have A, B, C, and the one with the soil and foliar application is the A. B is the one with only the soil application, and C is the one with only foliar application. So for the A field, you see for the first harvest of the tea, it was increase of 100% 7.9%, and for B it also increased for 1%, 101%. For C it was 102%. So usually it was made in a field that was very low in yield usually. So you can think of it as an increase of yield of more than 10%. So if you look at the second part of the tables, you will see the second harvest of tea. So for the A part of the field, it was 136% of the yield that was increased, and for B was 124%. For C is 122%. So you can think of it as a 30% increase. So when you had the application on the soil and foliar, both, you had a better performance. So when for the cost performance for the tea, I sprayed around 200 liters of water for 1 liter of Tokyo 8. And for the foliar application, and for the soil application, I used 400 dilution, so 400 liters of water in for 1 liter of Tokyo 8. And I also tried 600 dilution. So I used 10 liters of Tokyo 8 for 10 hours.
そう考えると1リッターしか使ってないっていう意味ではですね、
for a place where I used only 1 liter, the cost performance was really incredible. So there are some liquid fertilizer that can improve the yield like this, but usually we use more of this fertilizer, such as 5 liters or 10 liters, but for Tokyo 8 I only use 1 liter. So for this price, it was very wonderful performance. So please, next. So from now on, I will ask to the explanation of Mr. Harikai. So I'm Harikai from Tayoyuka. So I would like to explain about the analysis of the soil and the changes of the soil. So we used a kit called API 20NE to do analysis on the soil. So API 20NE, you check the ability of decomposition of organic matter based on enzyme, and the more positive test results you have, the greater ability to decompose organic matter. So about the results of the API 20NE. So for Tokyo 8, you had more positive, so you have more ability of decomposing organic matter when you use Tokyo 8. So that organic matter become precursor for amino acid and the protein synthesis. So it gets metabolized by the plant. So amino acid and protein synthesized by the plant help the growth and are stored as nutrient for the crops that are ready to harvest. So the microorganism might can also be expected to increase the soil composition to improve the soil composition. So in Kagoshima Prefecture, the soils are very light in specific gravity. So the continued use of Tokyo can improve the soil. So as for next, so some tea farmer use Tokyo 8. They wanted to try Tokyo 8 on potato as well after seeing the results with the tea. So right now we can see a picture of the potato field where Tokyo 8 was used. So they didn't do any control. They used it as a whole. So we are going to show you a small YouTube video on it.
いけますか？
Are you able to start the video? Please wait a little bit until the video starts.
流れないので、ちょっと前面にやっちゃったんです。
So since we saw a good results for tea, so we thought that it would be very effective for potato as well. So we used on the whole field. And actually this year we have very good potatoes. Oh, it's a good color. Usually how much is it? This year the transplant was a bit late because of the typhoon. So we were a bit worried about the speed of growth, but the speed of growth was completely different from previous years. So when at first when we compared to other field, the leaves were very lustrous. Right now there was some frost, so the leaves are down. But yes, thanks to Tokyo 8, we got a good growth. And if the potatoes are too big, they get very cheap. We cannot sell it for a good price. But right now we have perfect size potato. So if it's 2XL, 3XL, it becomes very cheap. But if it's a middle size, it's perfect to sell. And this is M size. So the perfect size. So the big ones are very cheap. So, this time we didn't had very big, and it was very good. And if potatoes become this, we can do any with any type of. So when the growth of the upper parts are very wide, it makes a very good potato. Mm. Mm. And actually, did you spray Kate one time? No, Kate two time. So we sprayed two times after transplanting. So we sprayed it once, and then 2 weeks after. So only with Tokyo 8. No, we didn't do anything else. And the first time we had a little bit of insects of pests. And using Tokyo 8, what could you feel? So the growth of the leaves were very fast, and compared to last year, it was the leaves were very good, and even the skin of potato was very good. So I'm very satisfied. So do you want to keep continuing Tokyo 8? Yes, please. So do you have any thoughts about Tokyo 8? So me, I'm actually a specialist on tea. So even so, I don't have much thought about potato, but I'm quite confident that I can make potatoes with Tokyo 8. So and do you have anything to say to people that have some doubts about using Tokyo 8? Yes, please use Tokyo 8 and don't be afraid. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, as you saw, you had effect on very good results on tea, but also it's not only on tea, but a lot of different kind of crops. So why is it so? So it's mostly thanks to the microorganisms. So you have both of physical and scientific and chemical reasons, but it's mostly thanks to the microorganism. And when we think about the cost, when you look at what is used usually in the tea industry, in the organic tea industry, so it's really a product where you can expect results. So please feel free to use it, and thank you very much. So thank you very much, Mr. Tolichigai, for your presentation. So at first, at last you talk about the price, right? So this is a product that hasn't been produced by only research, but it has been a product that has been developed in the line of Toyoyuka's activity. So this is why it becomes a product that is very cheap. So as next, we want to go to Saitama's results. So Mr. Ishida Shunpei, please start your presentation.
はい、大丈夫です。
So yes, we can see your screen.
どうもご紹介に預かりました。
So thank you very much for your introduction.
ソルテラ農園の石田です。
So
私
I'm
の簡単な
Ishida from
Soltera
Soltera Farm. So I want to start with a very simple, a brief self-introduction.
ソルテラ農園に初めて来たのは
So I first came to Soltera Farm the year before, in October 2021.
全面的に協力いただき
So I learned from Mr.
教わり
Nakagawa, a veteran farmer who has been cooperating fully with us in the experimental cultivation and reduce chemical agriculture using Tokyo 8.
栽培の
And
をしたのが私の最初の
the,
農業経験でした。
so it was my first
広さは確か
uh,
一旦5世
my first experience as in agriculture.
9月の
The size of the Chinese cabbage field was around 150 square meters, 1/5 of hectares. So as a beginner, I only had the image of Chinese cabbage sold in supermarket. So I didn't pay much attention to the planting time, or I just thought I would be able to get the same Chinese cabbage that we got from supermarket once I planted.
携わる前にもう納品先として大手
So
会社さんとの契約もあったことから
actually, we had the contract with the major pickle company, food manufacturer, to deliver.
で
And
きた成果物はもう結構
we thought we had done a good job with the cultivation, but actually the results weren't so good.
予想もしてなかった
So at first, I didn't think it was possible, but the Chinese cabbage didn't become a very good fall. They didn't fall off.
で年末年を越すのに
And for at the end of the year, when there's a frost,
と
to
まあ
to protect them from the frost,
まあ師匠
we had
の
I received some advice from my master Nakagawa. So we would use the outer leaves and tie them with a string, so it will become as a ball.
こう結ぶ作業っていうのはとても大変
But actually, it was very hard work to tie the unformed balls of Chinese cabbage. And actually, this year we couldn't do very good seedlings. They weren't in good condition, and the planting time was very late. So because of this, it didn't work out, and it gave me a lot of frustration, and I wanted to have some revenge.
農業に
So this is how I got more passionate about agriculture.
まあそんな中、まあせっかく東京イートというね、
So
でも必要な
even though I had the advantage of being a Tokyo farmer,
入れないことが
I couldn't
タクシードライバーをやりながら片手間で
I couldn't do my best
はねできないなと思い、
by just being
昨年の8月
a taxi driver as well as doing agriculture. So this is why I stopped being a taxi driver and I put all my effort in agriculture.
新規就農してその8月から
And
農業従事に
last year I started from August. I decided on the variety I wanted to raise for Chinese cabbage and choose the seeds with high germination rate, receiving a lot of advice from my mentor, and choosing when to sow and how to raise seedlings. Also, we did a comparative cultivation test for Tokyo 8.
昨年のその作付けは
So last year, cultivation surface was about around 300 square meters, so twice as last year's.
笑っちゃう話なんですけど
And
約1500株植えたから、まあ、
we planted about 15,000 plants, and we thought that maybe every plant we could get 2 kilos. So our goal was we had a very high goal of having maybe 30 tons.
まあ
And
先にこう結果を言ってしまうと結果はねこの目標としていた30万の約
but
半分の
actually the results was lesser than what we expected. So it was about 15 tons, half of our target.
昨年のね天候やね害虫被害
So
さまざまな
some of the reason is that we had last year very bad weather and pest damage, and also there's the fact that I'm a beginner.
ない植物
So
ちょっとしたね変化にこう自分はこう気づけませんで
seeing the changes of plant that is not moving was very hard for me.
特に害虫被
And
害はとても深刻でした
especially when we look at the pest damage, it was very severe.
新芽を
So the most of the pests prefer eating the very new leaves.
ガの幼虫や
So for example, moth larvae, caterpillars, ladybugs.
糸を使わなかった
So
行って
for the control,
ほ
those kind of pests were
とんど
were plagued by those kind of pests. So they were completely
こ
eaten.
の写真にはそ
eaten.
の比較した
So you can see in this picture.
出てないんですけど
So this is the control.
のね差が出ていたのですが
There's no picture of the Tokyo 8 one, but you had a big difference. So
このエリアは全滅すると思えない
if we just left it like this as a control field, maybe we would have zero yield from this site. So I wanted to try to put Tokyo 8 not to lose completely this side of the field.
東京 8 を乗せてなかったんですけどこの試験エリア
So I used Tokyo 8 on this site.
100倍の
So
散布を行っていたんですがこのエリアに対しては
So in this area, actually, I didn't use the usual dilution of 100 times, but I used a more concentrated dilution of 10 times.
もうダメかなと思って
And I thought the plants would not make it. So it was I sprayed, but I still sprayed Tokyo 8 the September 15. And after that, the environment was not good as typhoon came.
約1週間後の9月21の
And one week after, September 21, after the typhoon passed, we had rainy weather with very few hours of sunlight. But thanks to the typhoon and this weather, the weather was perfect, the temperature was perfect. So I don't know if this growth was bound to happen, but or if it was thanks to Tokyo 8. But based on my matter and also my theory, so maybe it was good that there was the soil was well water after spraying. And another point is that thanks to Tokyo 8, the nutrients might have been easier to absorb for the plant. And the third point is the repellent effect of the pest might have been answered. So maybe it had been harder for the pest to eat the plant, or less likely to eat the plant. So even it's just a beginner's theory, it was very fun and very rewarding to think about how to reproduce those results. So starting November, we started harvesting Chinese cabbage. So even though I thought I could manage the harvest by myself, actually I couldn't. The manpower was very needed. So I was supported by a lot of different people, and still, even though we couldn't reach the 30 tons, we were still able, thanks to everybody, to reach 15 tons, half the amount that we had set as a goal. It's still, I'm still shy to call it my main job, but between my own work and I'm also engaged in agricultural training with the interns from overseas. And also doing training with the new employees of the Solterra group. So those pictures are the sowing of daikon radish that occurred in last September. So winter and fall were very busy because it was harvest season. So those leeks, it's my master's work. My master's work. And they are all made with using Tokyo 8. They kind of look like hands of monsters. So this is why I thought I would show them to you.
長年やってる師匠もびっくりするほど立派なネギですね。
So even my master said that he was very surprised and they look very beautiful.
そして横に並べているものは決して細くはありません。
So you can see some of
ネギです。
the like XL size leaks by market standards on the left side of the picture of the right.
土壌の条件や肥料分など分析して再現できれば
So if you can analyze and reproduce the soil condition and soil fertilizer, maybe we can make Kurosawa brand of for the leeks.
真ん中のワンマンライブは大体撮影
The one man live performance in the middle was taken during the harvest of daikon radish.
これまた立派な大根でした。
It was this time again very magnificent daikon radish.
最後になりますが、私の頭から始めたハイブの小松菜栽培
So at last,
小松菜栽培になります。
the beginning of this year, we have started experimental cultivation of komatsuna, Japanese mustard, in greenhouse.
ハウス内区画を4つに分けて、
So the greenhouse was divided in 4 sections.
A 東京8プラスゼオライト、
So one is Tokyo 8 with zeolite, a kind of stone. So second is the conventional farming without zeolite.
D が
Third is only Tokyo 8 and 4 is only zeolite.
作りの段階にすき込んだものになります。
So those conditions are from the soil preparation. So the zeolite were mixed during soil preparation in the soil.
東京8のより精力点を拡大させ、効果を効率よく出すための作り方を試験しました。
So we wanted to try a method to spread Tokyo 8 and expand its sphere of influence and make it more effective.
この写真が2月21日に撮影したものです。 最高気温が19度とハウス内であっても寒暖差の厳しい真冬での
So the minimum soil temperature was 5 degrees and the maximum temperature was 19 degrees. So the growth was quite slow. It wasn't good for experiment.
遅いですが
Even with the slow growth,
アングル撮影距離を揃えて撮ってあるので分かりやすいと思いますが
so with the angle, it might
約
easier
ほど
to see the difference.
早いです。
But for Tokyo 8 with zeolite, so the A part of the field had a better growth.
拙い発表で分かりにくかったと思いますが、これからもソルテナ農園と東京8農法に
I hope you will continue to support and give advice to Soltra Farm and Tokyo 8 farming. So I would like to conclude my presentation. Thank you very much. So thank you very much, Mr. Shunpei, for your presentation. And we would like to know, it was very interesting, and we would like to know why it did become like this. So thank you very much.
続きましてはですね、
So next is
沖縄、石垣島のですね、
from Okinawa,
吉井シェフ
Ishigaki,
のお話なんですけど、
Ishigaki-jima.
ちょうど今これ
So the chef from
レストランのシェフなんで、ディナーの時間とかになってしまうので、今回はビデオの動画による
he's a chef from Okinawa, and since right now it's dinner time,
よろしくお願いいたします。
we would like to show a video because he couldn't be here for this presentation. So please look at the video. There would be subtitles, so so the interpretation will stop for a small moment.
イタリアにも1年間行って、修行をして戻ってきて、で、そこから、ホテルへ、転校して、で、フランス料理にそこから入って、で、ちょうど10年ずつぐらいですかね。イタリアより10年、フランスより10年というような形で、そして宮古島に来て、琉球料理というものと融合して、今は、琉球フレンチというような、料理ジャンルを今、構築していっているところです。農業に関しては、宮古島に来てからがメインになるので、そうですね、10年ほど農業には携わっています。はい。今まで、宮古島、島ならではなので、魚介を売りにしていたレストランなんですけども、そこに、野菜が入ることによって、野菜のファンがついて、で、そのお野菜が、今までよりも美味しいということで、リピートしてくれる人がすごく増えて、野菜料理
let me start my presentation. So I am Enora from International Sales of Taiyo Yuka, and I would like to present the results of trials of Tokyo 8 that were conducted in the last month in Indonesia, West Africa. The part on East Africa will be presented by Glory after this presentation. So first of all, I would like to show you some of the results that we got in Indonesia. Our product was tested within the IGHOP project from JICA that aims to modernize Indonesian farmers and improve their income. They also introduced Japanese technology to farmers. Therefore, some of the pictures and the results that you will see were shared by us to us by Mr. Nishimura and his team, and also JICA Indonesia staff. So the first field of trials for Tokyo 8 was in Cianjur. So the first farmer group is Mandiri. They had a very long experience with organic farming, and they were already using several kind of organic and also microorganism based products in their farm for both fertilization but also pest and disease control. Even right now, they distribute their vegetables through organic distribution routes as well. So during the trials, they use their usual way of cultivation alongside Tokyo 8. They did 2 trials, tested 2 crops, so Japanese spinach horenso and broccoli. So let me first go about Japanese spinach horenso. So for Japanese spinach, the control field was about 65 square meters, and they were using fermented manure as well as organic product for pest and disease control, especially after heavy rains. And they also used a competitor biofertilizer from Indonesia. And the test field was about 136 square meters, and was under the same condition, except that the biofertilizer that they used was Tokyo 8. Tokyo 8 was also used during nursery stage. So let me introduce you a little bit about the results. So 6 days after transplanting, so this is pictured of spinach 6 days after transplantation. And it was already possible to see a difference of height between the 2 crops. As you can see, the control was about 8.5 centimeters, and the Tokyo 8 one was about 10 centimeters, 10.5 centimeters. So those are pictures closer to harvest. So at harvest, the difference in size and color was also very impressive. Especially if you look at the difference in the roots. So if you take a look at the roots, aside of the length of the roots itself, so that you can see here so the left one is the Tokyo 8 one, and right one is the control one. And you can see, also notice that there was also less galls on the roots of the spinach from the Tokyo 8 plant. So let me show you a closer look of the control plant. So you can see those kind of small galls, right? Those are usually signs of stress, or this is the natural mechanism against aggression from, example, soil microorganism or microinvertebrates that might hurt the roots. And when you look at comparison for Tokyo 8, you had very few of them. So as for the difference on the leaf color, so you can see those are both leaves close of spinach close to harvest, and the leaf from the Tokyo 8 side had a darker color in comparison with the control plot. So you can see here. You can also see a small difference in length. Onto the weight of and the yield of spinach. So Tokyo 8 also improved the yield of spinach. So those were samples taken for 10 plants, and you could see a difference of about 490 gram in weight. So the control was 900 gram, and the Tokyo 8 one was 1 kilo and 390 gram for 10 plants. Let me show you how it translated on the graph. So those are box plots of the weight of the spinach. So this graph usually shows the variation, but also the median weight. The control plot had a higher variation in weight, but also lower median weight. It means that the production of spinach was way more reliable and consistent with the use of Tokyo 8, which is a very valuable thing for the farmer when it's about selling the production. Let me show you the same kind of graph, but this time for the length of Japanese spinach. Then again, the median length of Tokyo 8 spinach was superior to the control plant. So here is the Tokyo 8 one, and here is the control. You can see as well as for the variation, it was lower in the Tokyo 8 one. So the farmers were quite satisfied about the trials with Tokyo 8, and they say that as long as the product was really easy to use, but you still need to spray quite frequently. Soil texture was also improved, and the roots of the plants were longer, so they noticed that, especially when transplanting. The leaves of the plant were greener with a better taste and better yield, and the crops grew faster on the Tokyo 8 side, so they were able to harvest slightly earlier than the control plot. And they are very willing to use the product if the price aligns with the market price. Also, we were able to get a comment from a Japanese chef that is located in Indonesia, Jakarta. So he's a chef for a Japanese restaurant over there. And he was able to taste some of the spinach that were harvested during the trial. So we were Mr. Nishimura and JICA Indonesia were able to send some of the spinach. So they said that the spinach themselves, they look very good and very fresh. As for the taste and aspect, they found that even eaten in salad, there was no bitterness to the spinach. So even raw, they were very good to eat. Next trial. So for the same farmer group was on broccoli. So both of Tokyo 8 field and control field were about 100 square meter. Like for the spinach, they used the same condition of cultivation, except for the biofertilizer. That was Tokyo 8 in the test field and the competitor biofertilizer. Unfortunately, during the growth, they weren't able to see any significant changes in growth. So we are looking forward the results on the yield when the harvest will take place. Onto the another trial. So this one is this trial took place in Bandung, a place in West Java, so quite different from Cianjur. So it's a different farmer group called Catenzo. They are quite young and motivated farmers. So before the results that I'm going to present, they were able to do trials of Tokyo 8 in the past, but they weren't able to complete it. So they wanted to try the product once again. They also are using a lot of, still using synthetic fertilizers such as NPK. So for the condition of the cultivation, so the trials was conducted on several crops. So in Bandung, the farmer, they do multi-cropping cultivation. It allows them to reduce the cost of fertilizer, pesticides, and fungicide in the mulch. So you can see here, in the picture here, you can see tomato, chili, as well as Kenya beans. So before the Kenya beans, you had the Chinese cabbage. So as they harvest Chinese cabbage, they replace it by Kenya beans. And the mostly the input used during the trial were chicken manure, NPK, and limestone. They also did the pest and disease control with fungicide when necessary. On the control field, they actually used a biofertilizer that has a similar application method as Tokyo 8 and the same frequency of application. We were able to ask directly the farmer about the change that they have noticed on tomato. So they weren't not mature yet at the time of the survey, and as well as for Chinese cabbage that were in the middle of being harvested and being replaced by Kenya beans. So for tomatoes, the farmer, they noticed that the plants were growing taller and greener on the Tokyo 8 side. As they observed on several plants that have in the control plot, they have observed several plants that have completely wilted, but there was none on the Tokyo 8 side. So far, they haven't yet noticed changes in the yield per plant, but the tomatoes weren't mature yet at the time of survey. So less pest and wilt in the Tokyo 8 side. As for Chinese cabbage, so the vegetables, the crops, they were larger and greener when cultivated with Tokyo 8. So you can see here, this is the one cultivated with Tokyo 8, and here is one from the control plot. And the control plot actually suffered a very bad infestation of clubroot disease. So you can see here. And there was none of this disease in the Tokyo 8 field. So you can see a similar trend from the spinach from Cianjur, where you had roots that were more healthy with the use of Tokyo 8. As for the farmer's impression, globally, the farmer, they were quite satisfied with the product and they were looking to buy it or even produce it and sell it through the franchise system. They noticed that the crop were greener and has less pest and disease by using Tokyo 8. Also, after the failed trial, they noticed that the soil of the plot that you can see here on the picture got softer than the other plots that they had. So therefore they wanted to do another trials, but this time with potato on this plot that was using Tokyo 8 in the past. So let me go quickly on some results on West Africa. So first, I would like to briefly talk about Niger. So Niger is a country that is heavily relies on agriculture. Right now, some trials are being made, and it takes place in the commune of Bambay. So it's a group composed of more than 70 villagers. Mr. Yahaya, which is a ex-JICA scholarship student, when he went back to his country last year, he wanted to support his country's and his region's agriculture. So even though agriculture is not his major, he works in in energy. He still took Tokyo 8 back and introduced it to his peers, as you can see here on the picture. So most of the main crops that are cultivated in Niger are the following. So you can see horticultural and nuts and so on. So some of the picture of them are here. So sorghum, millet, peanuts, onion, and so on. And so you can see the initial condition where the trial started. It started with several farmers of the commune, and they are doing trials on lettuce, onion, tomato, and cabbage, and also carrots in 4 different zones. So several different farmers of the commune. So far, right now it's still growing. So more information is on the way. But the farmers that have tried the Tokyo 8 are very eager to continue using it. So they already have noticed changes in soil quality, but also on the crop that grew faster and greener. So let me show you some of the picture of the trials. It's still ongoing, but so this is in the first zone, Kolkoli Konawa. So you can see them diluting Tokyo 8 with water, but you can also see the test field. So tomato with and without Tokyo 8. So it's still really in they just had sown the seeds. So we will see results from now on. You can see that the condition is quite different from Indonesia and Japan. And they are also growing salad, so with and without Tokyo 8, and onion with and without Tokyo 8. So we are waiting for more results from now. In the second zone, Hubao, they are growing cabbage. So here is without Tokyo 8, and here is with Tokyo 8. But also onion, so both with and without Tokyo 8. In zone 3, Talakia, so you can see onion cultivation with and without Tokyo 8, but also lettuce cultivation. So here without Tokyo 8 and here with Tokyo 8. This is for zone 4, Inakata. They are also growing cabbage. So this one is with Tokyo 8 and this one without Tokyo 8. And you have a carrot as well. So it just began sprouting. So we are looking for more results from now on. This is just the beginning. Also, I would like to talk briefly about about Liberia. So Mr. Jonathan Kpalu actually did a presentation about his trials of Tokyo 8 at the last side event of TCAD 8. Even though we do not have new results, he is on the way of further develop his business with Tokyo 8. So right now, we have a project with him of improving the nutrition of mission school children by using Tokyo 8 in school garden. So we are visiting Mr. Jonathan next week in order to further settle the stepping stones of this project. And now I would like to leave the ground to Mrs. Glory that will talk even further about the results of Malawi. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Enora. Hello, everybody. My name is Glory Sivali, and I'm from Malawi, and I'm going to give you a snapshot of the results from Malawi.
Yes, before starting, Glory, can you change your display settings on the top to, because we are seeing the presenter side.
All right. Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you. Is that visible now? Okay.
Yes, this is perfect. Thank you very much. Please start.
Thank you so much. All right. So I am with the International Sales Department of Tokyo 8. Malawi, briefly, is a developing country in Southern Africa, which relies heavily on agriculture. So we have two main agricultural seasons, the rainy season, which starts from November to March, and the irrigated agricultural season, which runs between April and August. So far we have had a couple of trials in Malawi done by different people and in different regions, the north, central, and southern regions of Malawi. And we have had trials on green pepper, tomato, rapeseed, corn, and rice. Generally, Tokyo 8 is easy to use, as you can see in this picture. You do not need to have complex measuring materials. This is a picture of a farmer who used a 50 milliliters empty bottle to measure Tokyo 8 for dilution. And this is a common measurement for local businesses when they're trying to measure liquids. And they also applied Tokyo 8 using a bottle which had holes on the lid instead of a sprayer, which I'll show you shortly. And in green pepper, as I said earlier, that one of the trials was conducted on green pepper. We had 3 plots of 40 square meters each. And one plot had Tokyo 8 only, another had a combination of Tokyo 8 and chemical fertilizer, and the third one had chemical fertilizer only. And in terms of the fruit size, the one with Tokyo 8 had the biggest fruit size, and it even had a better aroma than as compared to the others, and it stayed fresh for a longer time. Currently, harvesting is still in process, and I will show you the rate of harvesting later. And farmers commented that it is better, they found it better to use Tokyo 8 only because it is profitable and reliable. And the other trial was conducted on tomato, as I said, and tomato was conducted on 3 plots of 40 square meters, again, just like green pepper, with the same combination. One of the observations was that of soil color, which was reported in the last TCAD 8 presentation by Ms. Victoria. And the other observation was about the weight of the tomato and even in the harvesting quantity. Currently, again, harvesting is still ongoing. So this graph here shows the difference in the harvesting quantity in kgs. You can clearly see that the highest quantity was that with Tokyo 8 only, seconded by the one with Tokyo 8 and chemical fertilizer, and the last one was one with chemical fertilizer, which is the usual way of growing green pepper and tomato. This may be the reason why farmers recommended that it is better to use Tokyo 8 only because the quantity harvested was highest with Tokyo 8 only. So the third vegetable used was rapeseed, which also had the similar procedure as tomato and green pepper. But in addition to the normal application, Tokyo 8 was also used as a measure for pest control. And again, farmers recommended that Tokyo 8 will be used solely because it maintained freshness of the vegetables, and also they noticed that the vegetable was being harvested in larger quantities as compared to the normal or the usual times that they grow vegetable. So we also had trials with corn, which was where we had 2 sites of 200 square meters each for Tokyo 8, that is. And site A had Tokyo 8 with manure, and the comparative was chemical fertilizers. In this site, the soil was considered to have fertility problems, and site B had Tokyo 8 only without any manure, and it was compared with chemical fertilizer grown on the same site. Site A was in the central region, which is Lilongwe, and site B was in the southern region, which is Balaka. In site A, we will shortly see a video of the application. As I mentioned earlier, that they were applying using bottles with when a watering can or a sprayer was unavailable. So this is the video, please watch.
That's how we're doing it. We're using the bottle as our sprayer.
All right. Basically, that is the application using a bottle as a sprayer. And according to the results, it was it is clearly evident that Tokyo 8 maize or corn had greener leaves, and there was less height variation as compared to the chemical fertilizer counterparts. It was also observed that in the plot with chemical fertilizer, they had pest infestation. This was for armyworms, which was not the case in the Tokyo 8 field. And this picture was taken 36 days after germination. And 46 days after germination, which is 10 days later, we can see the difference in the height as well as the variation through this graph to your right, top right. The color is still green in the Tokyo 8 and manure plots, whilst with the one with fertilizer only has yellowish leaves. Yeah, as you can see, the box plot to your right, the variation in height is very little with in the Tokyo 8 fields. And so the other site, as I mentioned earlier, in Balaka, they applied Tokyo 8 after 14 days after planting. And the difference, this picture was taken around 10 days after application. And the difference in the height is also evident. In the one without Tokyo 8 to your left, was only 42.5 centimeters, as compared to the one on the right, which had Tokyo 8, which was at 60 centimeters in a space of 10 days. So this is an evidence of speed growth. And again, the comment from the farmer said that the crops with Tokyo 8 had a deeper green color, and there was no armyworm infestation as compared to the other plot with fertilizer only, which had armyworm as well as termites. Mind you that this was on a very the planting was done closely. There was only a gap of 10 centimeters or 10 to 30 centimeters between the Tokyo 8 field plot and that one with fertilizer only. And the last crop we had was rice, which was grown in the central region in Chinji, Malawi. This is a picture of 3 weeks old rice. And in the top, there's a picture with Tokyo 8. And this Tokyo 8 was applied 7 days after transplanting. If you know rice cultivation, this was applied 7 days after transplanting. And the picture was taken after the first rains in 2 weeks. And you can see that the Tokyo 8 had persistent green color. The plants of Tokyo 8 had persistent green color, unlike the other one without Tokyo 8. So these are the comments and from farmers. Farmers and the neighboring farmers were impressed with the performance of Tokyo 8. One of our colleagues, Victoria, who is in Karonga, the northern part of Malawi, she is also the one who pioneered Tokyo 8 in Malawi. And her colleagues organized a field day where farmers came to witness the growth of plants used with Tokyo 8. And the community farmers were very happy to witness the impact of Tokyo 8, which was very clear. So the benefits of Tokyo 8 are yet to be explored because, as I said earlier, harvesting is still in progress in some plants, and maize has not been harvested yet. Thank you very much for your attention.
はい、エノラさん、グローリーさん、ありがとうございました。Thank you very much, Enora and Glory.
So thank you very much, Senora and Glory.